The sky was red, burning like fire. Pieces of metal rained down, tearing through the clouds. Adana could hear people screaming, voices fading into the smoke. An airplane twisted in the air, one wing snapping off, flames swallowing the body of the craft. She tried to run, but the ground beneath her feet broke apart. A dark voice echoed through the chaos, heavy and final. "Run, child. If you enter, you will not return." Adana screamed. Her eyes flew open. She sat up in her small bed, her chest rising and falling so fast it felt like she was suffocating. Sweat drenched her face, her nightdress stuck to her skin, and her tiny fingers clutched the blanket tightly as though it would save her from falling. Her scream was so loud it shook the quiet house. "Adana! Adana!" Her mother, Ngozi, ran in from the next room, her wrapper tied loosely, a small kerosene lantern in her hand. The flickering light threw shadows across the wall, making the room feel even more tense. She dropped the lantern on the stool and climbed quickly onto the bed. She grabbed her daughter, pulling her close. "What is it? My child, what is it? Why are you shouting like this in the middle of the night?" Adana's lips shook. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she buried her face in her mother's chest. Her voice was small, cracked, but heavy with fear. "Mummy, if we enter that plane, we will die." Ngozi froze. She pulled her daughter back to look into her eyes. The child's body trembled, her eyes wide, her little hands shaking. "What did you say?" Ngozi asked slowly. Adana wiped her face with the back of her hand. "The plane, Mummy. It will fall. It will catch fire. I saw it break apart. People were shouting, crying. A voice told me if I enter, I will not return." Ngozi's heart skipped. Her grip tightened on her daughter. She knew children dreamed all kinds of things, but she also knew when a dream carried weight. Something in her spirit stirred. She rubbed Adana's back gently. "Calm down. Tell me again. What did you see from the beginning?" Adana took a shaky breath. She spoke slowly, trying to piece it together. "The sky was red. I saw fire everywhere. The plane was high in the air, but one wing broke off. Then the whole thing started falling. People were screaming so loud. I tried to run, but the ground was breaking under my feet. Then I heard the voice. Said, 'Run, child. If you enter, you will not return.'" Ngozi shut her eyes. A chill ran down her spine. She pulled her daughter close again and began to whisper prayers under her breath. "Chinik, protect my child. This cannot be ordinary." Just then, the door creaked. Emeka stepped in, his face tired, his shirt half-buttoned, his eyes blinking from sleep. "What is happening here?" he asked sharply. "Why is this child screaming like someone is chasing her?" Ngozi turned quickly, still holding Adana tight. "She had a dream, a vision, Emeka. She said the plane we are supposed to enter tomorrow will crash." Emeka groaned and rubbed his forehead. "Ngozi, please, it is midnight. Tomorrow we have a flight to Lagos. Instead of sleeping, you are here filling her head with fear. Dreams are not real." Ngozi's eyes widened. "Did you not hear what I said?" The child described fire. She saw the plane break apart. She said a voice warned her. "This is not an ordinary dream." Emeka folded his arms, his voice firm. "Ngozi, she is a child. Children dream rubbish all the time. Maybe she watched a film or heard people talking. How can you use a child's dream to decide our journey?" Adana tugged at her father's shirt with her little hand. "Daddy, please believe me. Please. If we go on that plane, we will die." Emeka looked at her for a moment. The fear in her eyes almost shook him, but he quickly shook his head. He forced a smile. "My daughter, it was only a dream. Tomorrow you will see. Nothing will happen to us. We will go to Lagos and come back safely." Adana shook her head violently. "No, Daddy. It will not be safe. I saw it. I heard the voice. We must not go." Ngozi's grip on her daughter tightened. She turned to her husband, her voice sharp now. "Emeka, you cannot dismiss this. God speaks to children. Many times he has used the mouth of babes to reveal danger. Why are you so stubborn?" Emeka frowned. "And if we cancel this flight, what will we tell your brother in Lagos?" That we stayed back because our daughter had a bad dream? Do you want people to laugh at us? Ngozi snapped. So you would rather enter a plane and die than let people laugh at you? The words hung in the air. Adana sobbed harder, her cries echoing in the small room. Emeka exhaled loudly. He paced back and forth. Ngozi, listen. I am a teacher, a man of sense. I cannot throw away money for tickets because of fear. Do you know how much I paid for those seats? Do you know how long it took to save for this trip? Ngozi stood, her voice rising. So money is more important than your daughter's life? Emeka's face hardened. Nobody is dying. I said it already. Dreams are not reality. Stop filling this child's head with nonsense. Adana clung to her mother, shaking her head, whispering again and again. It will fall. It will fall. It will fall. Ngozi turned back to her daughter. She cupped her cheeks. Don't cry, my child. Your mother believes you. She sat back down and rocked Adana in her arms, humming softly, though her own heart was troubled. The lantern flickered on the stool, shadows dancing across the walls. The room was thick with tension, words unspoken. Emeka stood at the door, watching them, his jaw tight. He wanted to argue more, but he saw the fear in his daughter's eyes and the tears on his wife's face. He rubbed his head again, sighed, and walked out quietly, leaving them in the dim light. Ngozi whispered into Adana's ear. Don't worry, my child. Your voice has been heard. God will not allow us to fall into danger. Adana sniffed, her eyelids heavy with exhaustion, but she shook her head again. Mummy, promise me. Promise me you will not let Daddy take us on that plane. Ngozi kissed her forehead. I promise. Sleep now. The little girl closed her eyes slowly, her small body still trembling. Ngozi kept holding her, whispering prayers into the night. Outside, the wind howled faintly, rattling the trees, as if the whole world was warning them of what was to come. The morning sun crept through the curtains, filling the room with pale light. Birds chirped loudly outside, as if mocking the tension that had swallowed the house through the night. Adana sat quietly on her bed, her knees pulled up to her chest. Her eyes were swollen from crying, her voice hoarse from the screams that had shaken everyone awake. She had barely slept, the images from her dream still chasing her. Fire, screams, a voice that warned. In the next room, her father's voice boomed. Ngozi, please pack those clothes quickly. We cannot afford to miss this flight. Adana's heart sank. She pushed her head deeper into her pillow. He still wanted them to go. He was pretending nothing had happened, as if her warning was useless. Ngozi walked into the children's room, holding a wrapper in one hand and a folded dress in the other. Her face was tense. She looked at her daughter, sighed, and sat beside her. Adana, my child, stand up. Your father says we must get ready. Adana shook her head stubbornly. Mummy, I told you, the plane will fall. If we go, we will die. Ngozi stroked her hair gently. I know. I believe you. But you know your father. He is a man that does not like shame. He will not listen to me easily. Then don't let him take us, Adana whispered. Ngozi kissed her forehead. I will try, my daughter. But for now, stand up. Wear your clothes. Let us not bring more quarrel. Adana wiped her face with the back of her hand, her lips pressed tightly. She obeyed, but her steps were slow, her heart heavy. Meanwhile, Emeka was in the living room, folding his shirts into a small travel bag. His movements were sharp, almost angry. Ngozi entered, her voice low but firm. Emeka, after what happened last night, do you still want us to enter that plane? Emeka slammed the bag shut. Ngozi, don't start again. I have said it already. It was just a dream. A dream. Do you want us to waste money and disgrace ourselves before your family in Lagos? They are expecting us. Ngozi crossed her arms. So money is more important than our child's life? Emeka raised his voice. Nobody is dying. Do you know how much I paid for those tickets? Do you know how your brother will laugh if we do not show up? He will say Emeka is a coward who cannot even bring his family to a wedding. I will not allow that embarrassment. Adana, standing by the doorway with her small bag, burst into tears again. "Daddy, please, don't take us. The plane will crash." Emeka turned to her, his face softening for a second, but he quickly shook his head. "Stop crying, Adana. Nothing will happen to us. You will see. It is only fear. Lagos is waiting for us." Ngozi pulled Adana close and whispered in her ear, "Don't worry. God will not abandon us." The house soon filled with movement. Adana's younger siblings, little Chitara and Ifunanya, ran around happily, packing their shoes and toys, too young to understand the tension hanging in the air. Chitara giggled. "I will see Lagos. Daddy said the buildings are taller than trees." Ifunanya twirled in her dress. "And Uncle promised us meat pie." Adana sat quietly in the corner, her small hands clutched together. She looked at them and whispered under her breath, "The plane will fall." As they loaded the bags outside, neighbors stood around watching. One of them, Mama Kalechi, laughed loudly. "Ngozi, I heard your daughter was shouting in the night, saying plane will fall. You are training her to see demons everywhere, oh." Another neighbor added, "Better carry that child to church for deliverance. Every small thing she will be seeing vision." They all laughed. Emeka forced a smile, embarrassed. "Don't mind them. Children dream nonsense." But Ngozi's face was stiff. She held Adana's hand tightly, as though the laughter of the neighbors was cutting deep into her skin. Adana, staring at the ground, whispered again, "It will fall." Thunder slammed the sky like a warning bell. The taxi shook in the wind. Rain beat the glass so hard the wipers could not keep up. "Mummy, the plane will crash," Adana whispered, voice thin. Ngozi pulled her close. "I hear you. I am with you." Emeka sat in front beside the driver, jaw set. He did not turn. "Driver, steady. We must reach the airport on time." "Yes, sir," the driver said, gripping the wheel. "This rain no get mercy today." Lightning flashed. For 1 second the road turned white, then fell back into gray. In the back seat, little Chitara and Ifunanya pressed their faces to the window and giggled when water jumped out of the gutters. They were too young to feel the fear. Adana was not. The dream sat in her chest like a stone. "Seatbelts," Ngozi said. "Everyone." They clicked. Adana's hand shook on the buckle. She breathed in and out, counting like her mother taught her. Another crack tore the sky. The taxi swerved. The driver fought the wheel. "Jesus!" he blurted, then forced a laugh. "We go reach." Emeka's tone was firm. "Just keep moving." They climbed the flyover. A big banner snapped loose on one side and flogged the pole like a mad thing. The wind shoved the taxi again. Adana pressed her head into Ngozi's arm. "Breathe," Ngozi said softly. "I am here." They rolled down the flyover and turned onto the airport road. The rain eased for a moment, then returned in fast, hard drops. Ahead, the terminal lights glowed like a small city inside the storm. "See airport," the driver said with relief. "We don reach." They passed the gate, waved through by a guard who stood under a small shed. The taxi joined the drop-off lane. Doors opened and closed. People ran with bags under umbrellas. A trolley clattered over wet tiles. Emeka paid and jumped out. "Quick," he said, lifting the carry-on high to keep it dry. "Come down." Ngozi stepped out with the children. The moment Adana's sandals touched the ground, her knees felt weak. The low roar of a far engine rolled over them. The sound sat heavy in her ears. She looked at the gray belly of the sky and then at the runway lights that blinked like small eyes in the rain. "Walk with me," Ngozi said. Step by step. They hurried under the roof and pushed through the glass doors into the terminal. The air inside was cool and smelled of wet clothes and floor cleaner. Screens flashed flight numbers. The speaker voice called boarding for another flight. People dragged bags. Shoes squeaked on the tiles. Emeka led them to their airline counter. "Good morning," he told the agent. "Flight to Lagos. IDs, booking code," the agent said, tapping the keyboard. While Emeka handled it, Adana stood close to Ngozi, eyes scanning the hall. Every small sound pulled her attention. The beep of the scanner, the zip of a bag, the slap of a dropped bottle. The dream kept replaying. Red sky, breaking wing, the voice that was calm and final. If you enter, you will not return. Bags on belt, the agent said. He weighed, tagged, pushed them along. Proceed to security. Gate B. Thank you, Emeka said. He checked his watch. We still have time. Let us go. They joined the security line. Trays, belts, shoes. Emeka passed through, came back for his belt, then passed again. The younger ones giggled when the scanner beeped at Ifunanya's hair clip. The guard smiled and waved them on. Adana reached the mouth of the scanner and froze. It looked like a tall open jaw. Go, my dear, the guard said, kind. Adana looked at Ngozi. I am here, Ngozi said. Walk. She went through. No beep. She rushed out and grabbed her mother's hand like a rope. They put on shoes, picked up phones, and followed the signs down the long corridor to Gate B. The glass wall showed the tarmac soaked with rain. Ground crew in reflective vests moved between cones and small trucks. Far out, a plane engine coughed to life, rose, then fell. Adana flinched. The sound felt too close to her dream. The waiting area was a wide room with gray seats and a low TV in the corner. A big poster smiled. Fly safe, fly happy. Emeka checked the gate screen. Flight 7 to Lagos. On time. He nodded like the board had greeted him. Sit, he said. The children sat and swung their legs. Ngozi sat with Adana and kept an arm around her. Water? Ngozi asked. Adana shook her head. I want to go home. Emeka looked up from his phone. Adana, he said gently. We will be fine. Please. She pressed her lips together. She did not argue. She kept her eyes on the jet bridge door, as if the door was breathing. A man in a neat blue suit walked past, voice loud on the phone. Rain or no rain, we land by 11, he said. He caught Adana's stare and smiled like she was a small joke. First time flying? She didn't answer. Ngozi gave a polite, good morning. The man tipped his head and moved on. No worry. Money is talking, he said into his phone. The speaker chimed. Passengers on Flight 7 to Lagos. Please proceed to Gate B for additional pre-boarding checks. People stood and arranged bags. A woman helped her elderly mother up. A group of young men in matching t-shirts joked and pulled carry-ons. Emeka rose. Let us go before the line is long, he said. He lifted the small bag. Ngozi helped the little ones up. Adana did not move. Adana, Emeka said. Stand up. She shook her head, eyes wet. Daddy, please. We are only going to the gate to check, he said low. We are not entering the plane yet. Ngozi knelt by her. Walk with me. I am here. Adana stood, slow like her legs were heavy. They joined the line. The air near the gate felt tight and warm. The officer scanned boarding passes and IDs. People chatted in low voices. Rain pressed its fingers against the window and slid down in lines. The officer scanned their passes. Please sit near the door, he said. We will call groups soon. They stepped aside to the chairs beside the gate. Adana's breathing grew fast again. She stared at the door that led to the plane. In her head, it was not a door. It was the mouth from her dream. Mummy, she whispered. I can feel it. It is close. Ngozi squeezed her hand. I know, she said. I am watching. The rain crashed on the glass in a sudden sheet. A trolley rattled past. The sound ran through Adana's spine. She tried to swallow. Her mouth was dry. The officer lifted the mic. Families with small children. Adana could not hold it. She stood, pointed at the door with a shaking hand, and shouted, Don't enter. This plane will crash. It will burn. Please, don't enter. Silence hit the room. Heads turned. The officer froze mid-scan. A boy stopped chewing. Even the TV felt quiet. Emeka jumped up at once, face hot. Adana, he hissed. Stop that now. Fear had taken her voice and was using it. Please, she cried again. Everybody, please don't go. The man in the blue suit laughed and spread his hands. Would a little child now tell us what to do? He said to the room. A beg. Let airline do their work. A few people chuckled the nervous kind of laugh. One of the young men lifted his phone like he might record. Another whispered, "Na wa-o." Ngozi stepped in front of Adana and wrapped both arms around her. "It's okay," she murmured into the girl's hair. "Breathe, breathe." The officer walked over, voice even but firm. "Sir," he said to Emeka, "please control your child." "She is fine," Emeka said too fast. "I'm sorry. She's afraid. First time." "Sir, we cannot allow panic," the officer said. "If she shouts again, I will ask you to step away from the gate until she calms down." Emeka swallowed his reply. "Understood." He turned to Ngozi. "Please, take her aside." Ngozi guided Adana a few steps away. She crouched. "Look at me." Adana looked, tears shaking on her lashes. "Mummy, the voice is not loud. It is just sure." "I hear you," Ngozi said. "I believe you, but lower your voice. If they push us far, your father will get harder. We need wisdom, not noise. Hold me." Adana nodded, trembling. She pressed her face into Ngozi's shoulder. Across the seats, the blue suit man clicked his tongue. "Everywhere one person must bring drama," he said. "If you know one fly, go house." A woman snapped, "She is a child." He shrugged. "And we are adults. Make we behave so." Emeka stood a few steps away, pretending to scroll his phone. Shame burned his neck. He could feel eyes on his back even when people looked away. He stared at the floor, then the door, then the officer. The speaker chimed again. "Passengers for Flight 7, please remain seated. Boarding will start shortly." People settled, muttering. The old mother began to whisper a prayer. The young men joked to kill the moment. The TV showed Lagos traffic like ants in a jar. Everything looked normal if you did not look at the girl clinging to her mother. Ngozi stroked Adana's hair. "You are brave," she said softly. "You spoke. I heard." Adana lifted her head. "But they won't listen." "I am listening," Ngozi said. "And God is listening." Rain thinned to a soft curtain. A ground truck rolled past with an orange light turning. The gate light glowed steady. The officer picked the mic, looked at Emeka one last time, then spoke. "Passengers for Flight 7 to Lagos," he said, calm but firm. "Please prepare for boarding, and sir, please control your child." At the jet bridge door, Adana stopped and whispered, "Mummy, this is the plane that will crash." The light above the door flickered once, then held. The gate agent smiled like nothing was wrong. "Families with small children, please board now." Emeka lifted the carry-on. "Let's go," he said, steady voice, tight jaw. Ngozi squeezed Adana's hand. "Breathe. I am with you." They stepped into the jet bridge. Rain tapped the metal roof. The floor hummed under their shoes. Warm air drifted from the aircraft like hot breath mixed with fuel. A flight attendant stood at the door, smile fixed. "Welcome on board. Seats 21C to 21F, straight down, left side." "Thank you," Emeka said. They entered the narrow aisle. The cabin hummed low. White mist slipped from the ceiling vents. A baby cried somewhere at the back. Overhead lights dipped, blinked, then came back bright. Adana flinched. "Mummy, did you see that?" "I saw it," Ngozi said, though her own eyes stayed on the lights. "Hold me." They reached row 21. The overhead bin above them was half full. Emeka pushed their bag in, but the latch bounced back. "Sir, let me," an attendant said. She slammed the door with a firm shove. Caught. All set. The bang made Adana jump. She looked up at the vent again. The mist thickened, thinned, then steadied. They sat. Emeka on the aisle, Ngozi next, Adana by the window. Across the aisle, Chitara and Ifunanya wiggled into their seats, excited. "Seatbelts, please." An attendant called down the aisle. "Tray tables up." Adana tried to clip her belt. The latch slid out with a soft pop. Her chest tightened. "Mummy, it won't hold." "Give me," Ngozi said gently. She pressed the ends together. Click. She tugged. Popped again. Adana's eyes filled with fear. Ngozi angled the metal, pushed harder. Click. She pulled once more. This time it held. There. It's fine. Adana stared at the buckle like it might spring open on its own. She pulled her hands back. A clank sounded beneath the floor. The plane shuddered as if something heavy rolled underneath. The woman too rose ahead, made the sign of the cross. Blood of Jesus, she whispered. Lights dimmed to a soft gray, blinked twice, and brightened. A chime rang. The PA crackled with the captain's voice, warm, but tight at the edges. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Flight 7 to Lagos. We have some weather in the area. We're completing a quick system check before pushback. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Thank you. The speaker clicked off. The hum continued. The mist kept curling from the vents. Emeka leaned forward, trying to meet Adana's eyes. You heard the pilot. Quick check. Normal. Adana didn't answer. She stared through the glass at the wet wing. Raindrops ran in long lines. The flap trembled and settled. A ground crewman bent with a flashlight under the wing, touched something and signaled to another. Another clank. The bin above them rattled and popped open. A soft bag fell and brushed an armrest. Ah! The aisle woman jerked back. If it was my head NKO? Sorry, ma. A young man stood and grabbed the bag. It's mine. An attendant rushed, slammed the bin shut, pressed the latch with her palm, then forced a smile. It's secure now, ma. If it opens in the air? The woman asked. It won't, the attendant said. She moved on, smile tight, eyes alert. A harsh smell slipped through the cabin for 1 second. Hot plastic, then gone. It returned faintly, then faded. What kind smell be this? A man behind muttered. Phone's on flight mode now, another attendant called, lifting a hand like a traffic warden. Please. At the front, the lead attendant picked up the interphone, turned away, and spoke low. The one at the back answered with a small nod. Both glanced up at the panel lights, then at the forward door. The light above the aisle dimmed again, brightened, dimmed once more, then steadied. The air system changed pitch, high to low and back to high, like a whistle trying to choose a note. I can feel it, Adana whispered. The voice is not loud. It's just here. Ngozi's skin prickled. She found Emeka's eyes. He looked away fast, jaw hard. He wanted everything to be normal so badly. It looked like work. The captain again. Thanks for your patience. We're doing a quick reset. On-time taxi expected. A deeper hum rolled through the floor. The nose dipped a little, rose back. The seatbelt sign chimed on again, though it was already lit. People glanced up, then at each other. Across the aisle, Chitara asked, Why did it ding twice? Because they're starting things, Emeka said, the words thin. It's fine. A dull thunk echoed from the forward door. The nearest attendant flinched before she fixed her face. She touched the seal with 2 fingers, tested the handle, then picked the phone again. Cabin crew, arm doors for departure, the PA said, squealed with feedback, and cut. The attendant tried the lever. The door slid, paused, then seated with a heavy clunk. She nodded to herself. Green, she whispered, glancing at the indicator. The safety video started on the overhead monitors, froze, jumped, then continued midline. Pull the mask down firmly to start the flow of oxygen. Someone said, God forbid, quietly. A few people laughed, the small, nervous laugh people use when they want to pretend they didn't notice. Adana watched the screen, then stared back at her buckle. Clicked again. Tiny, like a cough. She grabbed it fast. Still locked. She looked at Ngozi. You heard. Ngozi nodded. I heard. Her fingers found the small cross on her necklace and held it. Outside, the engine at the tail spun harder, coughed, rose, then sank. A brown smear of exhaust washed across the window in the rain and thinned away. The old woman behind them murmured, Jesus, Jesus, counting on her fingers. Her daughter patted her arm. It's okay, Mama. The plane rolled an inch, stopped, rolled another inch, then didn't move again. Apologies, the captain said, voice tighter now. We have a door indication we're confirming with the team. This should only take a moment. The businessman in the blue suit across the aisle clicked his tongue. Every time. Confirm, confirm, he said loudly. Make we go a beg. Ngozi's eyes stayed on the forward door. The attendant pressed the interphone. Captain, 1L shows green. She listened. Copy. She checked the seal again anyway, palm flat on the frame like she needed to feel it. Lights dipped once more and came back. The vent above Adana's head puffed twice, stopped, then returned in a thin stream. The smell of hot plastic brushed past and vanished. Water, Ngozi asked Adana, because she needed to say something normal. Adana shook her head without looking away from the wing. I just want to go home. A heavier drag sounded beneath the floor, like something large moving where it shouldn't. Heads tilted as if eyes could see through metal. The sound stopped. The baby at the back hiccuped and went quiet. A chime came with no voice, only static. Then a click. Sir, please sit down. An attendant snapped at a man who stood to open a bin. We are about to move. He sat, annoyed, hands still on the strap. Emeka rubbed his palms on his trousers. Everything is normal, he said, but the sentence came out tired. Ngozi looked at him, then at Adana, then at the door again. The words from the night pressed clean and calm into her mind. If you enter, you will not return. Cabin crew, take your seats for departure, the captain said, forcing warmth into the PA. 2 attendants buckled into the jump seats. The forward one still reached up and touched the door seal, just to feel it. Her smile stayed, but it looked tired now. The plane went dim for a full second and bright again. The hum dipped, rose, dipped. Adana leaned close to Ngozi. Mummy, please talk to Daddy. Please. Ngozi met her eyes and saw the fear sitting there like a stone. She turned to Emeka. For a breath, she saw his fear too. Hidden under pride, time, money, and shame. He wanted sense. She wanted safety. A sharper thunk came from the door. The attendant twitched, then forced stillness back into her shoulders. The door stayed shut. The indicator stayed green, but the sound hung in the air like a warning. Outside, lightning flashed far away. The wing lit for a blink, then sank back into gray. Rain slowed to a soft spray. Adana's buckle clicked again, the lightest sound. She held it, locked. Her eyes rose to her mother's face, and Ngozi knew the moment had come. She slid her hand over Adana's and held it tight. Then she placed her other hand on Emeka's sleeve. The mist hissed from the vent. The seatbelt sign glowed. The plane hummed like a question. Ngozi took a slow breath that steadied her mouth. She turned to her husband, eyes set, voice low. Emeka, she said. And the way she said his name told him exactly what she was about to ask. Emeka, we must leave this plane. Now. Her voice was low but steady. The mist hissed from the vent. The seatbelt sign glowed. The plane hummed like it wanted to move. Emeka stared ahead, eyes fixed on nothing. Ngozi, please. Not here. Not now. Ngozi tightened her grip on his sleeve. Listen to me. You heard the sounds. You saw the lights. You smelled the burning. You felt the door. It's normal, he said, but his voice cracked on the last word. It is not normal, she replied. Our child warned us. She warned us in the night. She warned us at the gate. She is warning us now, and I can feel it too. Adana pressed closer to her. Daddy, please. Across the aisle, Chitara and Ifeanyi looked over, confused. Ngozi forced a small smile at them and turned back to Emeka. The PA chimed. Cabin crew, be seated for departure. The forward attendant buckled into the jump seat. The door handle sat tight, green light on. Rain tapped the fuselage in soft, stubborn fingers. Ngozi, Emeka whispered. If we stand up now, they will remove us. People will stare. We will delay everyone. They will laugh at us. Let them laugh, she said. Let them shout. I refuse to gamble my children's lives because of shame. He blinked, as if the word cut him. I paid for these tickets. Your brother is waiting. We have planned this for weeks. You want me to tell him we turned back because of a dream? Yes, she said simply. Because the dream is not just a dream. Because the signs are here. Because I am their mother. Because I will not bury my child. The engine outside spun higher, then dropped. The whole cabin felt like it held its breath. Emeka swallowed. This plane will go. Nothing will happen. We will land and you will say, "No," Ngozi said, calm but fierce. "If we land, I will thank God, but I will not test him." Emeka, look at her. He turned. Adana's small hands were shaking where they held the buckle. She met his eyes and whispered, "If we enter, we will not return." He looked away fast, as if the words were bright light. His jaw locked. His fingers dug into the armrest. The businessman in the blue suit across the aisle huffed and checked his watch. "This delay SEF," he said to nobody. Ngozi leaned close to Emeka's ear. "I will not keep quiet. If you refuse, I will unbuckle and stand up with my children. They will remove me. I will not die here because you fear embarrassment." He stared at her, shocked. "Ngozi, I am telling you the truth," she said. "I will stand." Adana's voice trembled. "Daddy, please, please." The old woman behind them murmured a prayer. The attendant at the front stared straight ahead, smile frozen, hands still near the door seal like it wanted to rest there again. Emeka rubbed his face hard, as if he could wipe away the moment. He spoke through his teeth. "If we ask to leave now, they will say the doors are armed. They will have to call ground crew. Everyone will look at us. They may even blacklist us. Do you know that?" Ngozi's answer was quiet and firm. "Blacklist me. I choose life." He looked at the aisle, then at the ceiling, then at his shoes. He looked anywhere but at their daughter. "What will we tell people?" "Tell them our child was sick," Ngozi said. "Tell them your wife refused. Tell them whatever you want. But let us leave." Silence stretched thin between them. The plane jerked a little, just a nudge as if it tested its legs. The hum swelled, settled, swelled again. "Cabin crew, final crosscheck," the PA said. Ngozi's hand trembled on his sleeve, but her voice did not. "Emeka, choose. Your pride or your family." He closed his eyes. His chest lifted and fell once, twice, 3 times. When he opened them, there was water in the corners. He turned to Adana. "My daughter." She looked up at him. "Daddy." He nodded once, slow. "Okay." Ngozi exhaled like someone had cut a tight rope around her ribs. "Okay." Emeka pressed the call button. A soft ding sounded above their row. Heads turned. The blue suit man sighed as if someone had stolen his time. The old woman's prayer paused, then continued. A flight attendant walked over with the trained smile. "Yes, sir?" Emeka swallowed. We need to leave the aircraft." Her smile faltered. "Sir, we need to disembark," he said, steadier now, like the words had finally found a road. "My daughter is unwell. My wife too. We cannot continue." The attendant glanced at the arm door light, then back at them. "Sir, we are about to push back. The doors are armed. Please remain seated." Ngozi spoke, gentle but firm. "Please, help us. My child is not well." The attendant measured the fear in Ngozi's eyes, then looked at Adana's pale face and shaking hands. She lowered her voice. "Sir, madam, if we open the door now, it will delay the flight. I need to inform the captain." "Inform him," Emeka said, surprising himself with how fast the words came. "Please." The attendant nodded. "Stay seated. Keep belts fastened for now. I will speak to the purser." She moved to the front, picked up the interphone, and spoke in quick, low tones. The forward attendant unbuckled and looked down the cabin toward row 21, then toward the cockpit. She pressed the handset button again. "Captain, we have a family requesting to deplane. Child unwell. Doors are armed. Please advise." The cockpit door remained closed. A heartbeat, too. The engine tone shifted again, then settled. Around them, whispers began, soft, quick. "What happened? Who? Why now?" Emeka kept his eyes on his knees. Shame licked at his neck. He felt it and let it burn. Ngozi held Adana's hand and did not look left or right. The attendant returned, kneeling into the aisle to lower herself to their level. Sir, madam, the captain is confirming with ground. If we proceed, we will deplane you through the forward door with security. Do you still want to leave? Emeka hesitated for half a breath. Ngozi squeezed his sleeve. Adana stared at him without blinking. Yes, he said. We still want to leave. Okay, the attendant said, voice kind now. Please stay calm. Do not stand until we ask you to. I will return. She rose and walked briskly to the front. The blue suit man huffed louder. So because of them now, all of us will wait, he said to the air. No one answered him. Ngozi turned to Emeka. Thank you, she said simply. He shook his head. Don't thank me. Just hold the children. Adana let out a small breath that sounded like the first air after being underwater. She leaned into her mother. Mummy, thank you. Ngozi kissed her forehead. Thank God. The attendant at the front spoke again into the handset. Captain, security standing by. Confirm disarming 1L. She listened, nodded, then unbuckled and stood. Ladies and gentlemen, she said into the PA, voice clear. We have a brief operational delay. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Thank you for your patience. She put the handset down and walked back to row 21. We will escort you, she told them softly. When I signal, unbuckle and follow me. Keep your voices low. Emeka glanced at Ngozi. She nodded. The attendant waited at the forward galley, eyes on the door, one hand hovering near the handle, the other on the interphone. The purser stood beside her, face set. A uniformed security officer appeared at the aircraft door window, tiny behind the porthole, waiting. Adana squeezed Ngozi's fingers. Are we going now? Very soon, Ngozi said. Hold me. The cabin hum felt different now. Not like a machine preparing to run, but like a crowd holding its breath together. The old woman's prayer slowed. The blue suit man checked his watch again and shook his head. Across the aisle, Chitara and Ifunanya held hands without being told, eyes wide and quiet for the first time. The forward attendant looked back at them. She lifted a hand. Not yet. Then she pressed the interphone. Cabin ready. Emeka shut his eyes for a second and opened them. He took Ngozi's free hand. For the first time since morning, all three of them were linked. Father, mother, child. The attendant's hand lifted again. A small signal. Okay, Ngozi whispered. When she calls us. Adana nodded. And in that tight, waiting hush, with the door about to open and the cabin watching without wanting to look, Emeka reached for his buckle. Ready to stand, ready to leave. The first laugh came before Emeka could unbuckle. Finally, the man in the blue suit said loud, The drama family wants to leave. Good. Emeka pressed the latch. Click. He stood. Please, he said to the nearest attendant, voice steady. My family needs to deplane. Sir, 1 moment, she replied, hand lifted. Security is coming. Ngozi rose and pulled Adana up with her. Wait, Ngozi said, turning to the rows around them. Please listen. Something is wrong with this aircraft. We are begging you, if you can, come down with us. A ripple of scoffs moved through the cabin. Madam, sit down, someone snapped from behind. Carry your village fear and go, another voice added. No, turn all of us to cowards. Adana clutched her mother. Her voice was small but clear. Please don't fly. I saw fire. Phones came out. Screens pointed at them like eyes. The old woman too rose back, paused her prayer, and looked up. What did she say? Nothing, Mama, her daughter answered quickly. Don't mind them. The lead attendant hurried down the aisle with the purser behind her. Sir, madam, she said to Emeka and Ngozi. You will follow me. Please do not speak to other passengers. Ngozi swallowed. She didn't move yet. She faced the cabin again. I am a mother, she said. I am not trying to scare you, but I will not risk my children. If your spirit is not at peace, please come down. The blue suit man barked a laugh. Which spirit? Madam, people have work. Go home. A young man in a cap added. A beg carry your child comet. Na you alone day see vision. Sir, the purser warned, but the teasing had energy now. It spread fast. Emeka lifted a hand. Please, he said. No insults. We just want to leave. A man across the aisle smirked at Emeka. So because your daughter watched one airplane film yesterday, you want to delay a whole flight? Adana's eyes stung. I did not watch a film, she said. I dreamed it. I heard a voice. Ah! Someone mimicked in a sing-song. I dreamed it. The old woman leaned forward, troubled, but her daughter tugged her sleeve. Mama, face front. The purser's jaw tightened. She spoke into the interphone clipped to her collar. Captain, we are escorting the family forward. Request security at 1L. The forward door window showed a uniformed security officer outside, waiting. The attendant at the jump seat stood, hand near the lever, eyes fixed ahead. Okay, the purser said, turning back to them. We are going now. Sir, Madam belts off, bags can remain. We will offload them. We will take the carry-on, Emeka said. His voice wobbled, then found itself. Please, make it fast, the purser said. Emeka reached up. The bin refused to open. For a second it felt like the plane itself was holding them. He yanked again. Popped. He pulled the bag down. Claps rose, mocking, slow claps. Bravo, the blue suit man said. Oscar award. Ngozi kept her face forward. Children, hold hands, she said. We are leaving. Across the aisle, Chitara and Ifunanya stood with shaking legs. They crossed to Ngozi's side. Mummy, Ifunanya whispered. Are we in trouble? No, Ngozi said, firm. We are going home. The purser stepped into the aisle to clear a path. Excuse us, please. Excuse us. As they moved, voices followed them like stones. Go and take bus, prophetess. Next time book road transport. A beg off camera. Make them pass. One woman scolded a man recording. He lowered his phone halfway, then raised it again when she looked away. Adana's hands trembled. She looked at faces and saw nothing soft. She pressed her cheek to Ngozi's arm and walked. At row 18, a man leaned out. Small girl, he said, half smiling. If you see another dream, dream money for me. Sir, the purser snapped. Enough. They reached the forward galley. The attendant at the door glanced at the indicator, then at the interphone. She listened, then nodded to herself. Disarming 1L, she said, mostly to the other crew. She moved the lever. The door handle thunked. She looked through the porthole and signaled to the security officer outside. The PA chimed. The captain's voice came calm but clipped. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a brief delay. Please remain seated with your belts fastened. Thank you. The door opened with a heavy breath of damp air from the jet bridge. Security will escort you, the purser told them. Please do not address other passengers. Ngozi turned one last time. Please, she said softly, not to argue now, just to leave the words behind. Peace be with you. Carry your peace and go. The blue suit man shot back. Guy rest, someone told him, finally tired of the noise. Move, please, the security officer said, firm but not rude. He held the door with one hand and pointed into the jet bridge with the other. Follow me. They stepped forward as a group, Emeka carrying the small bag, Ngozi with one hand on Adana and the other guiding the younger two. The jet bridge floor vibrated under their feet. Rain tapped the roof. The door closed behind them with a dull, final thud. Before it sealed, a thin wave of clapping slipped out. Scattered, not kind. Someone added a slow whistle. Then silence. In the tunnel, their footsteps sounded too loud. The security officer walked ahead. Another officer waited at the far end. Emeka found his voice. I am sorry, he told the first officer. We did not mean to cause trouble. The officer didn't slow. It's okay, sir. This happens sometimes. Please keep moving. Ngozi bent to Adana. You did well, she whispered. You spoke. I am proud of you. Adana nodded, lips tight. Will they be angry with us forever? No, Ngozi said. They will forget. We will not. They reached the gate door. The officer swiped a card. The terminal air felt bright and empty after the tight cabin. The gate agent stood waiting with stiff politeness. Please step aside, she said. Security will take your details. Your bags will be offloaded. The second officer faced Emeka. Sir, please remain here while we file a brief report. From the jet bridge, a muffled thunk came again as the aircraft door armed. The faint hum of the plane grew and faded like a breath behind a wall. The blue suit man's voice couldn't reach them now, but the echo of it still sat in Emeka's ears. He rubbed the back of his neck and stared at the floor. Ngozi touched his shoulder. Thank you, she said. He nodded once, eyes wet. Let them laugh, he murmured. We chose our family. The officer took their names and contact. You can proceed to the waiting area when your bags come out, he said. Please do not return to the gate. We won't, Emeka said. Adana leaned into Ngozi and exhaled. For the first time since the jet bridge, her breath did not shake. Through the glass, ground crew moved like small figures in rain. A truck with orange lights rolled away from the plane's nose. The jet bridge pulled back a little, paused, edged in again, then finally moved away completely. Will they still fly? Chitara asked, small voice. Ngozi looked at her 3 children, then at Emeka. We have done our part, she said. We warned. We left. The speaker above the gate crackled. Attention! This is a final boarding call for Flight 7 to Lagos. All remaining passengers, proceed to Gate B. Emeka closed his eyes for a second and opened them. Come, he said softly. Let's sit. They moved to a row of empty seats. Security stayed nearby, not hostile, just watching. The gate agent typed at her desk and avoided their eyes. A minute later, a baggage handler appeared with their checked bags. For you, he said, rolling them over. Sorry for delay. Thank you, Emeka replied. The children sat on the suitcases like stools. Ngozi held Adana's hand and watched the glass. The plane sat still, heavy, sure of itself. The rain had thinned to a silver sheet. The jet bridge was gone now. A tug inched toward the plane's nose. Adana squeezed her mother's fingers and whispered, We are safe. Yes, Ngozi said, voice low and certain. We are safe. Behind the glass, the aircraft's lights blinked. The tug connected. The plane shifted an inch. Security stepped a little closer, guiding them further from the window. Please wait over here, one officer said kindly. Just procedure. Ngozi nodded. We understand. They obeyed, moving a few steps back, bags beside them, children close. Their eyes, however, stayed on the glass. They did not shout anymore. They did not plead anymore. They stood in the quiet of people who had made a hard choice and were ready to carry the shame of it. The door to the jet bridge sealed. The cabin beyond the glass became a world they could no longer touch. And as the plane began to push back, slow and steady, security finished the last line of the report while the family waited. Kicked out, mocked, but together. Breaking news. The TV voice boomed the moment Emeka pressed the power button. Ngozi froze in the middle of the sitting room, still holding Adana's hand. The younger ones sat on the edge of the sofa, bags at their feet, shoes still on. An aircraft departing Enugu for Lagos has crashed minutes after takeoff, the presenter said. The screen showed fire and black smoke behind a police cordon. Emergency teams are on the scene. Early reports say, no survivors. The remote slipped from Emeka's hand and hit the tiles. No survivors, the voice repeated. No survivors. Silence filled the room. Then Adana whispered, Mummy. Ngozi's legs gave way. She dropped to her knees and pulled Adana to her chest. Jesus, Jesus. She didn't shout. She said the name like someone holding a rope in a storm. Emeka did not move. He stared at the TV like it was lying. The crawl at the bottom of the screen rolled past. Flight number, departure time, Enugu to Lagos, exactly theirs. That is our flight, he said to nobody. His lips barely moved. That is our flight. On the TV, A shaky phone video showed smoke rising from behind trees. People were screaming off camera. A siren wailed. The presenter's voice fought to stay calm, but it shook. Chitara's voice was small. "Daddy, what does no survivors mean?" Emeka swallowed hard. He could not speak. Ngozi pulled the younger ones closer with one arm and kept the other around Adana, rocking without moving from the floor. Adana's mouth trembled. "I told them," she said through tears. "I told them not to go. I didn't want them to die. I didn't want anybody to die." "I know," Ngozi whispered, pressing her face into Adana's hair. "I know, my child. You tried." Emeka finally moved. He bent, picked the remote, and turned the volume down, but he could not look away. The screen changed to an old photo of the plane type, then back to the live shot of smoke. A reporter shouted into a microphone, words dragging in the wind. Shortly after takeoff, impact, search and rescue. Emeka sat slowly on the edge of the chair. His hands shook in his lap. "If we had stayed," he said, voice breaking, "we would be inside that fire now." He looked at his daughter then, fully, as if seeing her for the first time today. "Adana, my daughter." She lifted her eyes, wet and red. "Daddy." He slid off the chair to the floor and knelt in front of her and Ngozi. He took Adana's small hands in both of his. "Forgive me," he said. "I almost made us go. He couldn't finish. His head bowed. "Thank you. You saved us." Adana shook her head, crying harder. "I didn't want anybody to die," she kept saying, as if that could change the picture on the screen. Ngozi held her tighter. "You did what God put in your mouth to say," she whispered. "You spoke. We heard." The house felt too quiet around the TV sound. The clock ticked. A motorcycle passed outside and faded. The smell of rain still clung to their clothes. Everything was normal except the one thing that was not. Emeka's phone started buzzing on the table, one call after another. Uncle Chuck's flashed. He let it ring out. It buzzed again. Family group. Then Mama. Then Obi from work. Messages lit the screen and stacked up. "Are you on that flight? Pick your call now. Jesus. Please answer. Say something, even a text." Emeka swallowed and picked the phone. His fingers hovered. Then he typed slowly. "We are safe. We left the plane before takeoff. We are home." He sent it. The next message typed itself in the group before he could lock the screen. "How?" He put the phone down, face buried in his palms. On the TV, the presenter repeated details. Witnesses report a loud boom. Smoke seen from several streets away. Emergency services are. No survivors confirmed at this time. The phrase "no survivors" kept returning like a drum. It did not soften with repetition. Ifunanya tugged Ngozi's wrapper. "Mummy, the people we sat near. Will they go to their house too?" Ngozi closed her eyes for a moment. It hurt to answer. "No, baby," she said softly. "They won't." "Why?" the child whispered. "Because their plane fell," Ngozi said, voice small. "And they didn't come out." Ifunanya's face crumpled. Chitara wrapped an arm around her without being told. Emeka stood and paced 2 steps, then back. He could not sit. He could not be still. Every part of his body wanted to act, but there was nothing to do. He stared at the TV again. For a breath, he saw the blue suit man's smirk in his mind, heard the clap, the joke. He squeezed his eyes shut and shook his head like he could push the picture away. Ngozi lifted her face, eyes glassy but clear. "We will pray," she said. She gathered the children into a circle on the rug. Emeka sank to his knees with them. They held hands because they needed to feel each other. Ngozi's prayer was simple, almost like talking. "God, thank you for saving us. We don't understand why some lived and some did not. We don't know anything. But you know. Comfort the families who will cry tonight. Hold them, help them, and help us not to forget that you warned us through a child. Amen." "Amen," Emeka said, voice rough. "Amen," the children echoed, small and shaky. They sat there a while, still holding hands even after the prayer ended, like letting go would break something. The TV kept talking to the room. Authorities have cordoned off the area. We will bring updates. Family members are gathering at the airline desk. Adana looked up at her father again. Daddy, will the people be angry with me? Emeka blinked. Angry? Why? Because I told them not to go. But they didn't listen. And now, she bit her lip. He moved closer and pulled her into his arms. Nobody should be angry with you, he said. You tried to help. You saved us. He swallowed. You saved me even when I didn't want to be saved. She hugged him back with both arms and cried into his shirt. I didn't want anybody to die. I know. He whispered into her hair. I know. The phone buzzed again, now a flood. Thank God. We heard the news. How did you leave? Is it true? Emeka ignored it. He did not have words for anyone else. Not yet. Ngozi rose quietly and brought water. The children sipped without thirst. She sat again, close to them, knee touching Adana's knee. The small touch felt like proof that they were all still here. The TV cut to footage from the airport. A crowd building at the airline counter, people trembling, some shouting, some just standing as if they had forgotten how to sit. A reporter said, relatives are asking for information. Many are in shock. Emeka's chest tightened. He pictured the old woman who had prayed behind them, the woman who had asked about the bin, the man who had told a joke by row 18. He did not know their names. He would never know them now. He covered his face with his hand. Ngozi noticed and placed her palm between his shoulder blades, rubbing slow. Don't carry all of it, she said quietly. It will crush you. I almost kept us on that plane, he said low, the words heavy. If you had not stood, if she had not. He swallowed again. I am sorry. You chose your family, she said. When it mattered, you chose. That is the truth we will hold. He nodded without looking up. The rain began again outside, softer now, tapping the roof like fingers on a drum. The house felt small but safe. Their bags sat near the door where they had dropped them. The boarding passes still stuck out of the side pocket of the carry-on like small, empty tickets to a life that had ended for others. Adana wiped her face. Mummy, can we sleep in the same room today? Yes, Ngozi said at once. All of us. Emeka reached for the remote and muted the TV. The pictures kept moving, but the room was finally quiet. He looked at his family on the rug, his wife, his children, the little girl who had told the truth when nobody wanted to hear it. He whispered, not to the TV, not to the world, just to them, we are alive. Ngozi nodded. We are alive. When the sun rose higher, the compound slowly emptied. People promised to return later. If you need anything, call, they said. Food, water, anything. They went back into a city that was crying. Inside the house, silence came again, lighter than before but still full. The TV was off now. The room felt bigger without the noise. The children lay on the rug and finally drifted into a thin sleep, one by one. Adana fought it, then gave in, hands still locked around Ngozi's fingers. Emeka sat on the edge of the chair and looked at his family like he was memorizing them. We are alive, he said again, a whisper he could not stop saying. Ngozi sat beside him. We listened, she replied. At the end, we listened. He turned to her. Thank you for standing up in that plane, he said. If you had kept quiet, I would not have. She cut in gentle. You know I would not. He smiled. It was small but real. I know now. He looked at Adana sleeping, her chest rising and falling in soft, steady beats. And thank you, he whispered to her, even though she could not hear, for saving your father from his pride. Ngozi leaned her head on his shoulder. We will still go to Lagos one day, she said, not testing him, just placing the idea like a seed. But not today. Not like this. By road, he said. By road. And when our hearts are ready. They sat there in quiet, shoulder to shoulder, watching their children sleep. Outside, the gate creaked as the wind moved it. Far away, a siren wailed and faded. The city kept breathing. The pain would not leave soon. But inside this house, gratitude was a roof. Adana stirred and blinked awake. She looked around, then up at them. "Are we still safe?" she asked, voice small and sleepy. "Yes," Ngozi said at once. "We are safe." Emeka reached over and touched her hair. "We heard you," he said. "We heard you when it mattered." Adana nodded and closed her eyes again, peace finally finding her face. Ngozi and Emeka watched her a long time, hands linked, thankful and relieved. Not because they were lucky, but because they listened to their daughter and walked out,